Buckingham Palace just delivered a crushing blow that has left Meghan Markle reeling, and the ruthless way they executed this ban will leave you absolutely speechless. Tonight, exclusive sources are confirming what many suspected. The Duchess of Sussex has been quietly shut out from the next Invictus Games, and the strategic precision behind this decision reveals a royal family that's done playing games. For the past several months, Meghan had been quietly orchestrating her grand comeback to the veteran competition. She'd allegedly begun selecting designer wardrobes, scheduling media interviews, and even floated the idea of bringing streaming cameras to document her so-called emotional homecoming with injured servicemen and women. This was meant to be her platform to reclaim global attention and prove she still wielded influence on the world stage. But senior palace officials had entirely different intentions simmering in private conversations. King Charles, Prince William, and Princess Catherine reportedly convened multiple confidential strategy sessions to address the Sussex problem head-on. The conclusion they reached was absolute and unambiguous. Meghan Markle would be barred from Invictus participation, and they were fully prepared to enforce that boundary without hesitation. The timing of this bombshell couldn't be more calculated. Only days after Harry's highly controversial Canadian appearance, where he allegedly bypassed proper Buckingham Palace notification protocols entirely, insiders claim the monarchy decided to draw a definitive line in the sand. They'd observed years of competing announcements, contradictory press releases, and deliberate attempts to steal thunder from legitimate royal engagements. According to whispers from palace corridors, the pivotal decision emerged during an intense video conference among working royals that stretched beyond 90 minutes. Every participant reportedly voiced serious reservations about allowing Meghan anywhere near the games. The shared sentiment was unmistakable. Her Hollywood theatrics and perpetual camera entourage had transformed what should remain a dignified space for wounded soldiers into a celebrity spectacle. But the story takes an even more startling turn when you hear what Meghan was doing behind the scenes. Rumor suggests she'd already started contacting veteran charities directly, attempting to arrange exclusive one-on-one sessions and carefully staged photo moments. For weeks, she'd been maneuvering quietly, apparently convinced that her royal credentials and prior Invictus involvement guaranteed automatic readmission into the fold. The wake-up call arrived with brutal force. Palace representatives allegedly communicated through intermediary channels that Meghan Markle's attendance would neither be permitted, accepted, nor facilitated under any circumstances whatsoever. No ceremonial arrivals, no orchestrated photo sessions, no staged embraces with veterans, and absolutely zero streaming platform crews capturing her every gesture. Entertainment industry sources claim that when word finally reached Montecito, Meghan's response was volcanic in intensity. She'd been counting on this appearance to restore her tarnished reputation and demonstrate continued relevance within royal circles. The rejection reportedly triggered a complete reevaluation of her entire post-royal game plan. Yet that was merely the opening chapter of this unfolding royal catastrophe. What transpired next inside the Sussex, California estate is genuinely tragic, and confidential sources reveal Meghan's desperation climbed to unprecedented heights nobody could have anticipated. The former television star reportedly entered full crisis mode the moment she understood the palace wasn't issuing empty threats about blocking her Invictus access. According to Buckingham insiders, Meghan immediately activated emergency damage control protocols, desperately calling anyone with remaining royal connections who might help overturn the ruling. Sources indicate she logged countless phone hours, essentially pleading with former palace staff and even peripheral royal family members to intercede on her behalf. These exchanges were reportedly highly emotional, with Meghan allegedly weeping openly during multiple conversations as she argued her position. Intelligence from Hollywood networks suggests Meghan even contemplated boarding an unannounced flight to London to personally challenge the royal family face-to-face. Her advisors allegedly had to physically dissuade her from what they characterized as a potentially catastrophic maneuver that could escalate tensions exponentially. The mere thought of Meghan appearing unannounced at palace doors, demanding a meeting about Invictus, sent her entire team into panic mode. But here's where circumstances become dramatically more complex. Sources claim Meghan contacted several prominent wounded warriors who'd previously supported her publicly, hoping they would advocate loudly for her inclusion in upcoming games. These outreach attempts reportedly backfired spectacularly, with numerous veterans expressing genuine concern about the media frenzy that seemed to trail her constantly. Industry contacts whisper that Meghan even attempted leveraging her Netflix partnership, proposing that her streaming service could deliver significant coverage and substantial financial backing for the games. This strategy allegedly collapsed completely when Invictus administrators clarified they had zero interest in transforming their sacred veteran event into a Hollywood production revolving around one polarizing personality. The emotional breaking point reportedly arrived when Meghan learned that Catherine, Princess of Wales, was receiving formal invitations to attend select Invictus functions in an official royal capacity. Sources suggest this revelation sent Meghan spiraling emotionally as she grasped that the monarchy wasn't simply excluding her, they were actively positioning someone they genuinely trusted and admired as her replacement. They weren't just shutting her out, they were replacing her entirely. Behind Montecito's closed doors, the atmosphere allegedly turned explosive and volatile. Staff members report overhearing raised arguments and emotional outbursts as Meghan wrestled with the harsh reality that her royal connections couldn't shield her from this public humiliation. The woman who once believed she could revolutionize the British monarchy was now being systematically locked out from one of its most significant charitable initiatives. Reports indicate Meghan's publicity team scrambled desperately to identify alternative veteran functions where she might make competing appearances, hoping to generate rival headlines during Invictus Week. But even these contingency strategies were reportedly encountering resistance as veteran nonprofits appeared reluctant to align themselves with the ongoing controversy that perpetually surrounded the Sussex brand. The most devastating blow allegedly landed when sources confirmed Harry himself had received explicit warnings about bringing Meghan anywhere near the games. The palace reportedly made absolutely clear that while Harry remained welcome as the event's founder, his wife's presence would generate unnecessary drama and unwanted distraction from the athletes. But the royal family's strategic counteroffensive was only beginning, and their next calculated move would render Meghan completely powerless. The pressure inside the Sussex household has reportedly reached critical mass, and sources close to the couple reveal Harry is trapped in an utterly impossible dilemma that's threatening to destroy his marriage from within. The Duke of Sussex allegedly finds himself squeezed between his wife's relentless demands and his family's inflexible ultimatum, creating a volatile pressure situation that insiders warn is approaching detonation. Palace sources whisper that Harry received a direct call from King Charles himself, spelling out expectations in absolutely unequivocal language. The conversation reportedly extended past 45 minutes, with the king making crystal clear that Meghan's attendance at Invictus would constitute a direct act of rebellion against the crown itself. Harry allegedly attempted negotiation, floating ideas for private participation or low-profile involvement, but every single proposal was immediately rejected. According to intelligence from Montecito, Meghan's reaction to this ultimatum was utterly shattering. Sources suggest she couldn't comprehend how Harry could permit his family to embarrass her so publicly, particularly concerning an event she'd actively promoted during their working royal years. The confrontations between husband and wife reportedly escalated so severely that household employees were instructed to vacate the property during heated exchanges. Industry insiders claim Meghan has been pressuring Harry relentlessly to take a definitive stand, insisting that he boycott Invictus completely if she's barred from attending. She allegedly told him that if he participates without her, it proves he remains under his family's thumb and doesn't genuinely support their united resistance against royal oppression. The emotional pressure tactics reportedly left Harry torn between loyalty to the games he created and commitment to his marriage. But circumstances become exponentially more explosive from here. Sources suggest Harry secretly contacted Prince William directly, attempting to negotiate some middle ground solution that might appease both sides. The estranged brothers allegedly shared their longest conversation in years, but William reportedly stood firm in backing the palace decision to exclude Meghan from all veteran-related functions. Behind Montecito's walls, the mounting pressure is reportedly exacting a serious toll on Harry's psychological well-being. Sources close to the situation reveal he's been grappling with the sobering realization that his wife's controversial public image has rendered her toxic in the very communities where he once felt most valued and comfortable. The veteran network that once embraced him as a wounded warrior champion has allegedly begun questioning his judgment and priorities. Intelligence from royal circles suggests Harry's been offered one final opportunity to attend Invictus without triggering drama, but it arrives with stringent non-negotiable conditions. No Meghan, no streaming cameras, no competing Sussex announcements, and absolutely no attempts to overshadow the veterans with family theatrics. Palace insiders allegedly emphasized this represents his last chance to preserve any connection with the charitable mission that once defined his royal purpose. The most heartbreaking dimension, according to sources, is that Harry genuinely yearns to honor the wounded soldiers who originally inspired Invictus, yet Meghan reportedly interprets his attendance without her as the ultimate act of betrayal, establishing a choice that could determine not merely his relationship with the royal family, but the entire future trajectory of his marriage. What happened when the monarchy unveiled their coordinated isolation strategy would stun absolutely everyone. What the royal family executed next was absolutely masterful in its strategic calculation, and sources reveal this comprehensive freeze-out of Meghan Markle has been orchestrated across many months of careful planning. Palace insiders whisper that King Charles, Prince William, and Catherine had been quietly designing the most sophisticated neutralization campaign the British monarchy has ever deployed, and Meghan walked directly into their carefully constructed trap. According to intelligence from royal networks, this strategy began crystallizing immediately following Harry and Meghan's explosive interview with Oprah. Senior royals allegedly conducted a sequence of confidential planning sessions where they methodically mapped out precisely how to defang the Sussex threat without appearing vindictive or mean-spirited to international audiences. The Invictus exclusion was reportedly merely the latest maneuver in an intricate, long-game chess match. Sources suggest Prince William has been the strategic architect orchestrating this entire operation, coordinating discreetly with veteran nonprofits and charitable foundations to ensure Meghan's controversial reputation preceded her wherever she attempted to insert herself. Industry insiders claim William's team has been quietly circulating concerns about the media circus that perpetually follows the Sussexes, emphasizing how their presence frequently overshadows actual charitable missions. But here's where the strategy becomes truly devastating in its execution. Palace sources reveal that Catherine has been strategically positioned as Meghan's direct successor in military outreach programming. While Meghan was being systematically sidelined, Catherine was reportedly receiving invitations to high-profile armed forces events, cultivating authentic relationships with wounded servicemen and their families without any accompanying Hollywood circus. The coordination allegedly extends far beyond merely veteran functions. Royal insiders whisper the working royals have been sharing detailed calendars of upcoming charity galas, sporting championships, and international diplomatic visits to guarantee that Sussex appearances don't conflict with or attempt to overshadow legitimate crown engagements. The objective reportedly is rendering Meghan and Harry's attempts at royal cosplay increasingly desperate and irrelevant to global audiences. According to sources familiar with palace operations, King Charles has been particularly strategic in his methodology. Rather than publicly condemning his daughter-in-law outright, he's allegedly been operating behind closed doors to ensure opportunities simply cease materializing for her anymore. Commonwealth governments have reportedly been briefed about maintaining appropriate diplomatic protocols whenever the Sussexes attempt unofficial state-like visits. The most crushing dimension of this freeze-out strategy is how it's been implemented without any public declarations or official palace statements whatsoever. Sources suggest the royal family learned valuable lessons from past mistakes and concluded that completely ignoring the Sussexes was vastly more effective than engaging in public warfare that only generated more attention and manufactured sympathy for them. Silence became their most powerful weapon against Sussex relevance. Industry insiders claim Meghan has finally begun recognizing the true extent of her isolation when even her celebrity friends started distancing themselves from royal-adjacent functions. The Hollywood elite reportedly don't want to jeopardize their own potential relationships with the legitimate royal family by appearing overly aligned with the controversial Sussexes. Palace sources whisper this coordinated strategy has proven so remarkably effective that veteran organizations are now proactively contacting working royals directly instead of waiting for Sussex interference attempts. The monarchy allegedly no longer needs to actively block Meghan because the institutions themselves have learned to circumvent her entirely. But the real damage had already been inflicted at Invictus itself, and what veterans were expressing privately would devastate Meghan completely. The truth about what's genuinely transpiring inside Invictus leadership circles is absolutely crushing for Meghan, and sources reveal her previous conduct at the Games created permanent damage that no amount of royal pedigree could ever repair. Veterans and event organizers have allegedly been harboring profound grievances against the Duchess of Sussex for years, and they're finally speaking candidly about why she's no longer considered welcome. According to insiders connected to Invictus administration, the problems originated during Meghan's inaugural appearance at the Toronto Games back in 2017. Sources suggest what global audiences perceived as a charming royal romance debut was actually a meticulously orchestrated media production that left numerous veterans feeling exploited and marginalized. The spotlight reportedly shifted away from celebrating wounded warriors toward analyzing Meghan's wardrobe changes and public displays of affection with Harry. But here's where revelations become genuinely shocking. Veteran sources whisper Meghan's advance team allegedly demanded special accommodations that diverted critical resources away from the competing athletes themselves. Reports suggest she required private preparation spaces, exclusive meal arrangements, and expanded security details that disrupted the Games' carefully coordinated logistics. What should have centered on honoring service members became about managing one individual's celebrity requirements. Industry insiders claim the tipping point arrived during subsequent Invictus gatherings, when Meghan allegedly insisted on embedding camera crews for her personal documentary initiatives. Veterans reportedly felt like they were being exploited as background props in Meghan's image rehabilitation campaign rather than being authentically supported in their athletic pursuits. The sacred healing space Harry had originally created was reportedly transforming into a Hollywood film set. The most damaging revelation reportedly originates from veteran spouses who felt Meghan's presence transformed their partner's athletic accomplishments into mere background noise for royal relationship drama. Sources suggest families who had sacrificed everything for their service members' recovery were frustrated watching Invictus coverage dominated by speculation about Meghan's fashion selections and marriage dynamics. Invictus officials allegedly communicated clearly to palace representatives that while they profoundly respected Harry's founding vision and continued dedication to veteran welfare, Meghan's involvement had become actively counterproductive to their core mission. The Games were designed to inspire and heal, not provide content for streaming platforms and entertainment magazines. But when the full truth about Harry's Canada deception finally surfaced, it permanently sealed Meghan's fate forever. The scandal surrounding Harry's deceptive Canadian trip has finally erupted into public consciousness, and sources reveal this elaborate web of dishonesty became the definitive nail sealing any hope of Meghan's Invictus comeback. What palace investigators uncovered about the Sussex team's systematic deception reportedly shocked even veteran royal courtiers who believed they'd witnessed every manipulation strategy imaginable. Canadian government officials reportedly maintained no records of any formal correspondence from Harry's team regarding the visit, despite Sussex representatives claiming they'd adhered to proper protocols for Commonwealth engagements. Sources whisper that when palace investigators contacted the appropriate Canadian ministries, they discovered Harry's people allegedly never initiated contact through official diplomatic channels whatsoever. Industry insiders claim the most incriminating revelation emerged when communication records were forensically examined. Reports suggest that while Harry's team insisted they'd provided the palace advance courtesy notification, telecommunications evidence allegedly revealed no record of any such communications during the timeframe they'd specified. The Sussex camp had apparently fabricated the entire narrative about proper notification procedures. Intelligence from royal circles suggests Prince William was personally devastated by the comprehensive extent of his brother's dishonesty. The future monarch allegedly realized Harry wasn't simply being manipulated by Meghan's questionable judgment, but had become an active collaborator in deceiving the very institution that had given his life meaning and direction. But the most explosive revelation reportedly surfaced when investigators discovered Meghan had been directly involved in constructing the false narrative about palace notification. Sources claim text messages and electronic correspondence showed her actively encouraging Harry to misrepresent following proper procedures, essentially coaching him on how to deceive his own family while maintaining plausible deniability if confronted. Palace insiders whisper this discovery fundamentally transformed how senior royals perceived the entire Sussex situation. What they'd previously attributed to poor judgment and celebrity influence was now exposed as calculated deception designed to embarrass the monarchy while simultaneously claiming victimhood when consequences inevitably followed. What veterans themselves were expressing about Meghan would prove even more professionally devastating. The most heartbreaking betrayal for Meghan has originated from the veteran community itself, and sources reveal wounded warriors who once embraced her are now actively organizing against her return to Invictus. What these courageous service members are expressing behind closed doors would absolutely devastate anyone possessing a functional conscience, and it exposes just how catastrophically Meghan miscalculated her relationship with military families. According to veteran advocacy organizations, the breaking point arrived when several high-profile wounded warriors privately contacted Invictus organizers to voice their serious concerns about Meghan's potential attendance. Sources suggest these conversations weren't motivated by tabloid gossip or royal politics, but by authentic frustration from service members who felt exploited during previous encounters with the Duchess of Sussex. Industry insiders claim a coalition of veteran spouses authored a confidential letter to Invictus leadership detailing their experiences with Meghan during past games. The correspondence reportedly described how their partners' emotional stories were allegedly appropriated as content for Meghan's personal brand building rather than being honored as examples of military courage and resilience. Intelligence from military families suggests the final straw was Meghan's conspicuous absence during recent veteran memorial ceremonies while simultaneously appearing at Hollywood parties and celebrity networking gatherings. Sources claim wounded warriors noticed the stark contrast between her tearful Invictus speeches about supporting service members and her actual priorities when cameras weren't actively rolling. The most powerful voices reportedly originate from veteran amputees and post-traumatic stress survivors who initially supported Meghan's involvement but have since become profoundly disillusioned with her approach. Sources suggest these warriors feel her obsessive focus on personal grievances and celebrity lifestyle fundamentally contradicts the values of service and sacrifice that Invictus represents at its core. But when Netflix entered the picture with their commercial demands, the situation became absolutely explosive and untenable. The streaming giant's involvement in Meghan's Invictus plans created an absolute catastrophe that reportedly sent veteran organizations scrambling for cover, and sources reveal Netflix's demands for exclusive content access became the final straw that sealed her fate permanently. According to industry sources, Netflix executives had been secretly developing a documentary series concept that would chronicle Meghan's emotional return to Invictus, positioning her as a misunderstood royal fighting to support forgotten veterans despite alleged family persecution. The streaming, or platform allegedly identified massive commercial potential in combining royal drama with military heroism. Sources suggest Netflix representatives approached Invictus organizers with proposals for exclusive behind-the-scenes access that would have transformed the sacred veteran games into a reality television production. The streaming giant allegedly wanted to film private counseling sessions, intimate family moments, and emotional athlete breakdowns specifically for dramatic content consumption. According to sources connected to Invictus leadership, the absolute breaking point arrived when Netflix allegedly suggested scripted scenarios where Meghan could be filmed, consoling weeping veterans or mediating family conflicts for maximum emotional impact on viewers. The streaming platform reportedly wanted to manufacture touching moments that could be edited into compelling television programming, regardless of their authenticity or ethical implications. But the most explosive revelation reportedly emerged when Netflix executives allegedly proposed paying veteran participants to sign exclusivity agreements that would legally prevent them from discussing their Invictus experiences with competing media outlets. Sources claim the streaming giant wanted to own these service members' stories permanently, transforming their sacrificial service into corporate intellectual property. Palace sources whisper that when King Charles learned about Netflix's detailed plans for commercializing Invictus through Meghan's involvement, his response was swift and absolutely decisive. The monarch allegedly made crystal clear that no member of the royal family would participate in any event that allowed streaming platforms to exploit British military service members for entertainment profit margins. Industry insiders claim Invictus organizers immediately banned all Netflix personnel from future games indefinitely, rendering Meghan's attendance impossible since her participation had allegedly become contingent on securing streaming content for her lucrative entertainment contracts. The impact on Meghan's marriage was about to become absolutely devastating and possibly irreparable. The explosive confrontations between Harry and Meghan over her Invictus exclusion have reportedly pushed their marriage to the absolute breaking point, and sources close to the couple reveal the screaming matches in Montecito have become so intense that household staff members are actively seeking new employment opportunities elsewhere. According to insiders, the arguments erupted immediately after Meghan learned she'd been blocked from the games, with her allegedly demanding Harry choose between supporting her or betraying their marriage vows. Sources suggest these weren't typical marital disagreements, but full-scale emotional warfare, with Meghan reportedly deploying every manipulation tactic in her psychological arsenal to force Harry into an impossible position. Industry sources claim Meghan has been systematically dismantling Harry's connection to his military identity, allegedly telling him his veteran work only matters if she's included as an equal partner in all activities. Sources close to the situation reveal Harry has been caught between his genuine love for veteran causes and his wife's increasingly desperate demands for validation and public recognition. Palace insiders whisper he's been secretly communicating with Invictus organizers independently, trying to identify some compromise solution that might satisfy both sides without completely destroying his marriage. According to reports from Montecito, the fights have escalated to levels where Meghan allegedly threatened to leave California permanently if Harry attends Invictus without her physical presence. Sources suggest she interprets his potential participation as the ultimate act of betrayal, proving he values his family's approval more than their united front against alleged royal persecution. Industry insiders suggest Meghan has been using their children as leverage in these arguments, allegedly telling Harry that attending Invictus without her would send a damaging message to Archie and Lilibet that Daddy doesn't support Mommy when she's being attacked by mean people. What the royal family decided to do next would end any hope of reconciliation forever and cement the permanent separation. The royal family's final decision about Meghan and Harry's future has reportedly been rendered, and sources reveal this Invictus block represents far more than merely one excluded event on the calendar. Palace insiders whisper that King Charles, Prince William, and Catherine have reached a unanimous verdict that will fundamentally reshape the monarchy's relationship with the Sussexes forever, and there's absolutely no possibility of reversing what they've decided. According to royal sources, senior family members convened a decisive summit where they reviewed every Sussex controversy from the past 5 years comprehensively. The Invictus exclusion was reportedly merely the opening move in a much larger strategy to completely sever ties with Montecito permanently. Industry insiders claim Prince William has been granted full authority to handle all future Sussex-related decisions independently, effectively making him the absolute gatekeeper for any potential reconciliation attempts moving forward. Sources suggest the future king has made explicitly clear that Meghan will never again be welcomed at any royal or Commonwealth event, regardless of circumstances or international public pressure campaigns. Palace sources reveal King Charles has allegedly authorized a permanent protocol change that eliminates any ambiguity about Harry and Meghan's official status within the institution. The new guidelines reportedly treat them as complete outsiders with zero special consideration for family relationships. According to reports from Buckingham Palace, the decision extends far beyond merely blocking Meghan from specific events. Sources suggest the royal family has committed to a comprehensive policy of complete non-engagement, meaning no responses to Sussex statements, no acknowledgement of their charitable initiatives, and absolutely no public reactions to their media appearances or business ventures whatsoever. Intelligence from royal circles indicates this decision was specifically engineered to deny Harry and Meghan the one thing they desperately require for ongoing relevance: continuing royal family drama and conflict. Industry insiders claim by refusing to engage with Sussex provocations entirely, the working royals have effectively starved them of the conflict-based content that drives their media attention and lucrative streaming deals. Sources close to the situation reveal senior royals have made peace with the realistic possibility that Harry might never return to the family fold, accepting that Meghan's influence has fundamentally transformed him in ways that make genuine reconciliation impossible moving forward. The Invictus block wasn't merely about one single event or one charitable appearance. It was about ending the entire Sussex royal story forever and establishing permanent boundaries. And judging by the deafening silence emanating from Montecito, Meghan finally understands that her royal relevance has died completely and irreversibly. If you found this analysis revealing, make sure you hit that like button for The Democratic Wire and drop your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about the royal family's strategy? Was this the right move, or did they go too far? Subscribe and turn on notifications because the next video is already waiting, and you absolutely won't believe what's coming next.